We are finally in the yellow phase of recovery here in Western Pennsylvania, and if you are buying, you need to know these 5 things. Hey everyone, it's Shelly from the Shelly Killinger Group here at WEARMASK CSI. We are finally in the yellow phase of recovery from the COVID pandemic here in Western Pennsylvania, which means that real estate is back open for business, at least in modified form, and we are so excited to be back doing what we love. But if you are thinking of buying in this phase of recovery, in the near future at all, I would say you need to know these 5 things. They're really, really important because showings have changed considerably. And if you're going to think about touring properties, these 5 things are really going to be important for you to know. And the very first thing is that you need to expect to rule out properties virtually. If you have a list of 10 properties that you want to see, I would not anticipate that you're going to be able to see all of those in person. You need to whittle down that list online. And there are so many resources that you can use to determine which of your stack of homes are actually a priority to see in person. A couple of those resources are, if a 3D or a Matterport tour is provided by the listing agent, that actually takes you room by room through the house where you can swivel your screen around and actually take a look at all of the details. It really gives you an in-depth look at the house, so you can determine, is this house one that I actually want to, take my agent and tour in person? So a Matterport tour is a good resource. A video walkthrough, like a FaceTime tour with the owner, that is a very good resource because then you can ask the seller questions as you're walking through and they can give you answers. You could also do that in the form of a Zoom tour. Also using Google Maps to take a look at the location, doing a drive-by to see the neighborhood. You want to take a look at all of those things on every property that you like to determine, is this one that's going to make my short list of 2 or 3 properties that we're actually going to see in person? Does it make the cut? Because we want to minimize the spread of this virus. We do not want to be touring 10, 15 properties at a clip. It is not going to work because you're then spreading the virus even further. So we want to make sure that we're minimizing that list, and you want to make sure you're whittling that down by using virtual resources. So that is tip number 1. You should expect to do that. Tip number 2 is don't expect instant access. There are forms that need to be signed within 24 hours of your showing. Forms that just say that you're agreeing as a buyer to do showings during the midst of a pandemic. Forms that actually disclose whether or not you've had any kind of contact with someone who's had the coronavirus. So those need to be filled out ahead of time. And we also need to get the seller's acknowledgement on your forms. So that takes time. So this is not going to be a season where we can say, hey, I'll meet you there in an hour. More than likely, it's not going to work. So you need to have some lead time and make sure that you allow some time before your showings. So that is tip number 2. Don't expect instant access. Tip number 3, I'm sure you expect it, but you need to expect to wear masks, gloves, and shoe coverings during all showings. Even in vacant houses, you need to be able to provide your own mask, gloves, and shoe coverings. So if you're embarking on a home search journey, I would go ahead and purchase those products. Keep them in your car, keep hand sanitizer there, because you are going to need to disinfect after every single showing so that we're not potentially spreading something from one house to the next. So definitely number 3, expect to wear your personal protective gear. Tip number 4, don't expect to bring guests. And I know this is hard for those of you who want to bring family along to get their approval, but we are not going to be permitted to bring large groups of people through houses. It's just not going to be a possibility. Again, in order to contain the spread of this virus, we need to make sure that showings are limited to 2 people. So that means you and 1 other person and then your agent. So you could bring a father if you wanted to bring your dad along to see the house. You could obviously bring your spouse if you're a couple buying a house, but you're not going to bring large groups of people. Those large groups of people you could take through on a FaceTime tour. You could take through by showing them the Matterport tour. They're going to unfortunately be limited to virtual access at this point. So just don't expect to bring guests along on showings. So that's the unfortunate news, but that is tip number 4. Tip number 5, guys, is expect the market to be hot. So we are at a very low inventory situation right now. A lot of sellers have not put their homes on the market because they could not get photography done. They couldn't get the home stager out to the house. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable having people in their homes while we were quarantined. So we are very low inventory right now. Unfortunately, we couple that with a really high buyer demand. We have about 2 months worth of buyer demand that's been pent up. So when you have low inventory and high buyer demand, that leads to a really hot seller's market. So buyers, unfortunately, are going to have to be very aggressive. We're expecting to see multiple offer situations, low days on market, homes flying off the market quickly. So if you are a buyer, I would anticipate that it is a hot market you're walking into, and you're probably going to have to be aggressive in pursuing the homes that you really want. So those are 5 quick tips on what to expect if you are buying a home in the yellow phase of the COVID pandemic. I hope you all are well, guys. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments down below or reach out to me directly. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every single Tuesday, and we wouldn't want you to miss one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.